this second chance, I really want to take advantage of it and be able to do everything right.
6 broken ribs, a broken femur, and a fractured spine. But Sky Korbut is alive. He's one of the 3 teenagers to survive a tragic Beaverton crash that really rocked the entire community. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for KT News at 5. I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Rick Asway in for Steve Dunn. Sky was in the car that investigators say crashed into a Washington County deputy in April. 2 teens in the car died. K2's Genevieve Verome is live for us in Beaverton. Genevieve, that intersection behind you is where the crash happened.
Yeah, right. This is the intersection of TV Highway and Mori Boulevard. It is in this intersection where 2 teenagers lost their lives. 3 other students and a deputy had their lives forever changed.
I just remember being in the car and we were headed towards Portland.
15-year-old Sky Korbut doesn't remember much from the night he nearly died, but he knows he'll never see 2 of his best friends again.
I have dreams about them, and I wake up thinking they're still here.
17-year-old Matthew and 16-year-old Pablo died in this intersection on April 27th. Pablo's birthday just passed.
I gotta go to his grave and sing him happy birthday with a cupcake and stuff like candles.
Sky tells me he, Pablo, Matthew, and James got in a car that night with fellow Southridge student Xavier Rodriguez. Sky says he didn't know the 18-year-old well.
My friends have told me that they got a lot of texts from us saying we're scared and we want out the car.
According to investigators, Rodriguez ran a red light and smashed into Deputy Mike Trotter. Rodriguez is still in custody facing a long list of charges, including manslaughter and driving under the influence. The Deputy Trotter was just released from the hospital Tuesday after more than 40 days.
And Deputy Trotter was released from the hospital yesterday. Did you get to see any of that video?
But I heard, and I'm really glad he's recovering.
Trotter went from Legacy Emmanuel to a rehab center where the husband, dad, and deputy will continue his recovery.
Is there anything that you would want to say to him?
I mean, I really hope he's feeling better, and I'm so sorry that someone's actions put him in that case, and I hope he can be able to walk again and be with his family.
There was a chance Sky would never walk again. He underwent 5 surgeries for a fractured spine, broken femur and ribs, internal bleeding, and intestinal issues.
I'm so grateful, and I feel like really God was on my side.
He spent 3 weeks in the hospital. Doctors don't think he'll be able to play football or wrestle again, but he can walk. And step by step, he's journeying through this second chance.
Are there things that you want to change or anything you want to do differently in this, what you call second chance?
I want to just stay out of trouble, go to school, get a job, and work out and recover.
Right, we looked specifically at vulnerable road users, that's bikers and walkers. And according to the data we got from PBOT and from Portland Police Bureau, that trend for those deaths is not looking good. It's been a deadly week for vulnerable road users in Portland. But this isn't a freak occurrence. Data from PBOT and Portland Police show the number of deaths from crashes has been steadily rising. According to PBOT data, in 2019 we saw 18 walkers and pedestrians killed in Portland crashes. Then in 2020, that number went up to 23. In 2021, we saw 27. That's the highest in more than 3 decades. And now for 2022, we're only about halfway through the year, and we've already seen 13 biker and pedestrian deaths. But for years, the city has had a goal of 0 traffic deaths with their Vision Zero program, which begs the question. Do you feel like Vision Zero is accomplishing its goal here, of reducing the amount of deaths?
So it's going to take years to transform our streets and our driver behavior to reach our goal of Vision Zero.
Spokesperson for PBOT Dylan Rivera says over the years they've implemented many improvements to roads, including safety cameras, left turn calming treatments, and speed bumps at high crash intersections.
And they have reduced dangerous driving very dramatically.
But it's not translating into less traffic deaths yet. Rivera says they need time for these changes to take effect.
Every time we transform a street, we add safety improvements to a street, it takes time for people to adjust their travel behavior.
Many of those improvements, however, haven't made it yet to the area of yesterday's fatal crash near 100th Avenue and Gleason. an area where many children live and play.
Make our neighborhoods safer for our children, not just us.
Rivera says they have improvements planned for that neighborhood, but it could take a couple years still, he says, for them to get the funding to complete them.
Specifically, what will you do as chief to fill those 20-plus vacancies?
So we have some really exciting things going on here. So we're finally starting up a recruitment team. So we'll have dedicated staff for a recruitment team. We're developing a public affairs program as well. We recently implemented hiring incentives as well. So if you have no experience whatsoever, we're going to give you $10,000 just for signing on the dotted line. If you have police experience, we're going to give you $25,000. And we're going to make sure that we invest the very best training in you. We're going to get you the very best equipment and make sure that you're well taken care of. And we're going to continue to go out and start recruit in larger places than just Vancouver. Even though I think some of the best police officers from Vancouver live here and don't even know it yet, we're going to try to get in other parts of the country so our city is more reflective, our agency is more reflective of other metropolitan cities in the United States.
You do seem a bit reform-minded on things like restorative justice, community policing. Do you believe that will maybe be controversial among some of your rank-and-file officers?
I don't believe so, no. I mean, we're a progressive organization and we want to always try to do the right thing first and foremost. And every time we've talked about different restorative justice programs, people embrace it. And so I don't believe there'll be any resistance whatsoever.
Explain restorative justice really quickly.
So restorative justice is, instead of just locking people up and throwing away the key, is finding alternative ways. So an example, drug court. Drug court is an enormous successful program. Law enforcement assisted diversion programs. You have working with the courts for like mental health court, veterans court. So we have different programs for people so you just don't lock them up.
There will be people in the community and maybe people in the department, though, who look at that and say, that's soft on crime.
Well, I would disagree with them. So if you look at the national recidivism rate, when you just, without any programs whatsoever, it's well over 60%. When you look at the recidivism rate in a program like drug court, it is in the low teens.
Some police chiefs and officers say we need to go out and arrest these people and they need to go serve time for their crimes. This is a little bit of a different approach.
Well, I would disagree with them. I think if we wanted, if for those people that think they're going to just arrest their way out of this problem, that's a bad approach. Because if you look at the way the incarceration trends are going across the United States over time, if you were to just straight line projection that side of policing out, I mean, half the population is either going to be in a prison or working for a prison. And it's just, that's not feasible. It's not attainable. And it's not fair either.
How do you view the partnership among law enforcement agencies in this region, though?
So our partnerships we have here in Clark County are amazing. We have a regional interagency special weapons and tactics team. We have interagency cooperation with our child abuse team, our elder abuse team, our domestic violence teams, and the cooperation that we have with all of our partner agencies here are fantastic.
Does your department play a role in what's largely perceived to be a problem with Portland's violence?
We're always going to cooperate with our regional partners. We want to figure out what the root cause of many of these problems are and do our very best at any given time to do the right thing at the right time.